Hello everyone, it's Coder from 19. Today's day 90 in my challenge day. And as I already mentioned in the previous video that description, that I faced a problem that about how should I uh, proceed this project from now on because I learned lots of things during the 5 months. Uh, it was about some fundamentals of computer graphics by reading real-time rendering book. Also, I learned about some fundamentals of ray tracing algorithms, and I applied it by using the ray curry extension in the computer shader. And also, I tried to implement it by using the ray tracing extension, which is the ray tracing pipeline in the Vulkan API. Also, I tried to understand some modern sampling theory to accelerate the light transport process by learning some of what was that? Resampled importance sampling, or so RESTL. Or so I didn't learn yet, but I also want to learn some generalized version of RESTL to accelerate the right light transport equation. But the problem is that I just learned, so I can say that learning something doesn't mean exactly know something and about know how to apply the knowledge in the application. That means the ability of the implementation. And I think I'm quite a lack of this power myself because from now on I just read something and understand, but didn't implement much. And also, so I thought I need to start at the bottom, although I learned lots of things before in my computer graphics course in my university. But I thought I just need to review those things to implement something by stacking the layers in my application from the basic graphics pipeline to the ray tracing pipeline later. But at the same time, I think this is kind of redundancy in my knowledge because I already learned it, right? I reading the something that I learned already. I felt kind of boring myself. Uh, I continuously wanted to learn something new. So I just had a time to resolve this issue myself. And I got the idea from the KPT retrospective format. So let me write down by following this format what I'm going to keep and what is my problem and what I'm going to try in this project. So think one of the things that I need to keep is recording myself. This was really good, I think, because it's quite difficult to record every day and every morning myself, because sometimes I really feel tired and sometimes I really don't have any time to record it. But this is my promise myself. So it forced me to do learn some things every day, not not to lose some pace of continuity. So I think this is really good. Keep try using Vulkan API. And so the ultimate goal that I learned this computer graphics field is that because I want to be a render software engineer in some game industry or some other movie film industry. Some of them just requires for employees to use DirectX API, or some of the others want to use OpenGL. Also, they want some of the companies require the Vulkan API. But I think the API is really not important thing to use. But actually, I already have used this Vulkan API as my first graphics API for these 5 months. So I think it's just better to keep using this by keeping the inertia of my ability to use the graphics API. So maybe later, this will be a try. Maybe later, I try direct ads 12 if needed. Yeah, if needed. This is really important. If needed. Also, mm, not to lose the research area. So, because of the time limitation, sometimes I'm just learning about the how to use API and the fundamental things that I learned, like what is the pixels and what stages is composed of the graphics pipeline. Also, how the vertex draw in on the screen, and what the transformation matrix is required in the transformation series to draw something from the word space to screen space. But those things that is some kind of practical area that is not some the research area is called the state of the art. So in this region, there are some we still there's a denoising using neural network. So uh, this already developed, but the light transport enhancement. So those are things that it's kind of the close to research area, not the practical thing. But I think it's really important for myself as an engineer, always keep on interest on the research things, uh, to be excellent at something and to improve, to have a power to improve some application, the exist application for the future. So I think it's really important. And my problem is sometimes stop just reading. So if you're an engineer or if you're a developer, you may understand this sentence because we are just sometimes reading the documentations or books that after then we just think, oh, now I know this. Now I know how to use it. But actually it is not. I always feel feel this as myself because after reading something, I feel like I already know how to use it, but actually, when I tried it, there's a lot of errors that I need to debug myself because some of the misunderstood of the equations or some are misunderstood using the API. So there are a lot of things. There are a huge gap between the theory and the implementation. So this is the region that requires a practice a lot. So stop just reading and try implement. So reading. This will be try to learn modern ray tracing algorithms. So this problem is that occurred when I was reading the real-time rendering books because uh, the beginning phase of the book treats some topics of a transformation or the graphics pipeline and processing units and the basic shader programming. But I already learned it in the computer graphics course, and to be honest, that I really don't remember everything myself, but doesn't I think it is really kind of uh, useless to read everything carefully from the bottom. So I think is skip skim through the parts. So this is my new strategy. Skim through the part that I already know without writing some of the notes. Then focus on the new things like uh, especially I don't know about the ambient occlusion exactly, how the ambient occlusion works, or the screen space ambient occlusion. Also, some kind of the camera theory, like lens theory or depth of field, some of the concepts. And that is the exact thing that I should focus on. Are using Vulkan API? That's the last thing to try creating a big project working on. So this is my KPT retrospective myself. So I just wrote down the key, what I need to keep and what is my current problem and what I need to try. So based on this strategy, let's start. Okay. Oh gosh. So my current application using uh what is that? Compute shader and a compute pipeline. But I want to use a graphics pipeline for now to review the fundamentals of graphics pipeline and to understand deeply the stages of graphics pipeline. And so I also want to apply the glfw to render the frames every second, not to render just a single frame. So what I'm going to do today is applying the glfw, and if I have some times, I want to apply the uniform buffer in my application. Okay. So to start a new project, let's create a new branch. Let me write down which name is the restoration. Bring the changes to the restoration. Okay. I'm going to delete everything in the ray tracing applications until before the context allocator buffer size. Let me just leave the object. Ray tracing here. Let's just delete everything. No compute pipeline anymore. Ray tracing. No index buffer vertex. And no descriptor. And we are not going to use storage buffer anymore because I want to apply the swap chain image this application. No storage buffer. Let's try build. No problem. Okay, just let me delete everything. I think it's just better to start from the scratch. We don't need these functions anymore. First input is glfw, and name is static. Static is enter. For the render and for the sample, I'm going to use 180, 1680 because of that it's 1050. glfw window. So glfw. Client. glfw window pointer. Louis. Oh, it tries terrible. So we'll do a single tone camera manip, which can be across the entire application. So let me load the include MVH, the camera manipulator is VP. So this header file has some singleton object of the camera manipulator instance. So it helps us to use the camera operation without implementation itself ourselves. So set the size, which is render width and render height. We're ready to look at 3. Do I need to add something about it? Okay, just use this with Pro. Oh, I suddenly that I forgot the things that I need to the kit version. So using libraries, tools. I think this is the one of the most important thing that I should keep in my entire engineer life. Because when I try to implement everything myself, uh, while the learning Vulkan API, I I encounter a lot of errors because the lack of knowledge of architecturing some huge application, and because I didn't fully understand of the how the Vulkan API works. I made a slight mistakes on my application, and it was really hard to find it after just debugging it and the linking errors. And then I started to use this MVVK framework provided by the nvpro samples. Also, I aggressively start to use the Vulkan SDK. They provide the pre-built, pre-compiled binaries for the Vulkan DirectX compiler, which converts from HLSL to the Spiral format. It was really comprehensive to use. Also, they have some bulk and the GLM header and the GLFW. Everything that is really required is really often used in the Vulkan application. They have everything. We just we just can start new application by the leveraging the setting the effort of setting up everything to the libraries and tools and SDKs. It really reduces the huge amount of effort to set up everything ourselves. It's really good. And for productivity, it's really necessary to use these libraries and tools and SDKs. Yeah. And now I'm using it. So this is the exact path. So set up the execution path for to find where is the shaders and the scenes to use it later for the obj load some model assets, 3D model assets, and the shader program in our application at the runtime. requires. We need to carry the required extension by the glfw library. So rec uh, required extensions glfw, which is the glfw get required instance extension count. And this function returns a count of the number of required extensions to this count reference. So it updates the value of the count variable itself by executing this function. Configuring what's the Vulkan extensions and layers. Okay, so now we need to add, okay, context. Oh, version. I want to set version as 1.3 because I'm using the one Vulkan SDK version is 1.3 point 200 something. So erase. So assign the search path to global variable search passes. device extension, required extension glfw, which is extension ID. Add instance layer. Through by extension, which is bkkhr subclaim extension name. So by adding the debug util extension name, we can enable the validation layer of the Vulkan API. And also, we need to add the device extension of KHR swap chain extension name because Vulkan is the platform agnostic API. So it doesn't have swap chain extension itself in the API. Uh, but actually, a swap chain is kind of necessary things to render everything in the Windows, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be in the API side. So they have as they have the functionality as an extension. Okay, let's build try. Let's try build. I think it's fine. I'm gonna create new class. Class name is virus app convention is used. Base classes. What is base class of that? I think there's a bit lots of virtual functions to I need to implement in the Pierce app. So I'm going to do this in the uh, next video. So thanks for your watching today's video and see you next.